That is why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in this Mubarak month of ours has ordained upon us this fast. Fasting in the month of Ramadan has become compulsory upon us. Like the other compulsory actions, we find fasting is also compulsory and binding. Yet we find, if you look at the method, the way Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has prescribed it, and how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has mentioned in the Quran, that it is very, very unique. Like the ibadat is unique, the way it was prescribed also is unique. When it came to salat and zakat, etc., it is mentioned, وَأَقِيمُوا الصَّلَاةَ وَآتُوا الزَّكَاةَ وَأَتِمُّوا الْحَجَّ وَالْعُمْرَةَ لِلَّهِ. That gives, establish the namaz, and give out your zakat, and go for hajj, complete the hajj and umrah. But when it came to fasting, then obviously this was a unique ibadat, completely different and unique from all the other ibadats. And this was something that will now be a change for a person from his day-to-day lives. From his day-to-day lives, the person will apprehend danger and hardships, and he will feel he may not be able to complete it. Firstly, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentions, Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu, an address full with mercy and kindness, filled with love and compassion. O you who believe. O you who believe, in other words, O you who have accepted my pledge and have remained steadfast on my pledge. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala had taken a pledge from all of us in the world of the souls, that am I not your Lord? Alastu bi rabbikum? Qalu bala. And all of us had mentioned bala, definitely. Why not? Indeed you are our Lord. After coming to this world, those people that believed had remained on this pledge, remained steadfast on this pledge. In other words, O you who have taken the pledge, from whom I have taken the pledge, and who are steadfast on the pledge. O you who have accepted me as your Lord, as your cherisher, as your nourisher, and as your sustainer. O you who have believed in all the particles of faith, who have accepted the message of the Anbiya alayhi salatu wasalam. A very special address is made here. And this is such a special address that is mentioned that some Jews, they used to celebrate and be very pleased when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has specifically addressed them. Here over 80 times in the Quran, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentions, Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu, Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu. People give the example like a person who calls out his son and says, Oh my beloved son, or Oh my beloved father. Instead of calling him by the name, calls him by the title. When we know that this title is such that it draws the love and affection of that person when he is addressed in this manner. Oh you who believe, kutiba alaykumus siyam. Fasting has been prescribed upon you. Now obviously fasting, do we understand, is abstaining from eating and drinking. That which was absolutely permissible for the 11 months of the year. Any time in the day and night, it was permissible for us to participate in eating and drinking. Now Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us, kutiba alaykumus siyam. Fasting is prescribed upon you, meaning you will have to abstain from this habit that you had throughout the year. This that you should participate in freely throughout the year, you will have to abstain from it because of my orders. This brings about a apprehension and a fear that perhaps we may not be able to forbear or tolerate or withstand this difficulty and hardship here that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is prescribing for us. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala immediately consoles us. كَمَا كُتِبَ عَلَى الَّذِينَ مِنْ قَبْلِكُمْ. This is not only unique with you, but this was prescribed to the people before you as well. And historians mention that from the time of Adam alayhi salatu wasalam, right up to this ummah, we find that fasting was prescribed for the people before us. Though the details may differ, it was not only like 30 days of Ramadan, etc., but in principle fasting was ordained on the people before us. This immediately gives us relief. Immediately gives us relief that this is such an action, such an ibadat, such an action of devotion that can be withstood by us. Why it was withstood? People had tolerated it, and it was possible for them to carry it out. People right from inception, from the beginning. So for us also, it will be very, very easy and very, very simple. Another subtle message here is this: it is so integral and so important and so relevant that you cannot be deprived of the great rewards of this fast. It was prescribed for people before you, and it's prescribed for you as well. In other words, we will not disadvantage you, but we will favor you as well with this great benefit of fasting and this great ibadat of fasting. And further Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentions the wisdom of fasting, لَعَلَّكُمْ تَتَّقُونَ, so that you may become pious and so that you may become conscious of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and so that you may practice self-restraint.